Hey, what's up, everybody? Um, so I wanted to take an opportunity just to do a tutorial on customizing the look and feel of like how you want the thing to look. So we'll just go with the window edit options. First you got border thickness. Border thickness, you obviously get a border around uh, the window. You can change the border color. Go down to the bottom. You got window border color. Get this picker. Um, if you try to use this wheel on the outside, sometimes it's buggy, but you just whatever this little icon is, whenever you exit, that's what it's going to be. So maybe we're going to have a red border just for demonstration. So we have a red border now. Let's go back up to the top. Now we have the window margin. Obviously, the window margin is how much space is like kind of around everything. So we could just set it to the max, which is 20, which is like some people, if you like to move your window and you need some space to grab, you can do this to like make sure you're not tapping on things. Window opacity, obviously when it's the active one, is basically when I mouse over, what do I want it to be? Typically I like it to be like 100, but set it to whatever you want. The inactive opacity, that's when you're not moused over. If we set that to like, say 30%, you'll see it like dims it out. Some people might want to even like really low. You can only set it to 0.1. The reason for that is that there's some reason why if I go to full 0, it stops receiving mouse events. So until I figure that out, this is as dim as it gets. But then if you come over it, pops back up. So it's pretty good. I will keep in mind it blocks clicks. So if you put this on part of your EverQuest window, that's basically you can't click there anymore. Let's set it to 100 just so we can see the window at all times. Character button width, you can see here the character buttons. Like if you had a really long name and it was getting clipped, you could in theory set this like a little wider. We'll set it to 128. Here we got the button height. Button height's self-explanatory. You can edit it. The buttons get taller. It's like not that hard. Fixed button width. So right now you can see that the buttons are based on they have a minimum width they can be, but they also have their width is based on the content and that kind of how we basically lay out the entire window is kind of we lay it out based on like the widest row of character buttons and stuff. So if you wanted it to be like more even, you could click this use fixed button width, which if you do that, now it's going to be more of like a fixed size grid. And the text will wrap, but obviously if you put too long a text in there, you're going to have to adjust the width, and you could do that. You could set it super wide, like crazy wide. Your mileage may vary. Like I haven't tested all this stuff 100%, but most of the time people are doing it much smaller. So it's like if you got some crazy super wide monitor and you want it to look like that, I'm untested. But anyway, let's just keep it like super big and chunky so that you guys can see it. So yeah, like let's just keep it right there. That looks cool, like kind of like big squares. Now we have the font size. Obviously you can go really small, like, and then you can go kind of big. I'll leave it there. Next we have like the corner button radius. Corner radius, so it's like you can go to nothing and it's totally square, or you can go to the max and it's kind of rounded. Obviously, if your button height is, I think the minimum button height might be 20. Like you're gonna get into some funkiness, or actually, you're gonna get all kinds of weirdness if you start trying to do that. So make reasonable, insane decisions here. But yeah, say you go somewhere like right here, 13. Now you can change the character button color. So the character button color, hold this color picker in here, you can change it. What I like to do is I kind of use the hex. I just like we'll put in hex value. You know, like you can do whatever you want here, but I could probably just do like a white. You know, that's easier. So like if you pick a color, you can kind of just copy and paste its hex value in here. So for instance, you know, I'll just keep these being like a yellow, but for when you're doing the colors, you can do it that way. You can change the button color to the text color. And you know, you could change it to, you know, something like that. Now the active character button, that's, I'm not going to just demonstrate that because I don't have any game clients running, but you know, if you were to have an active character, that one would be the one that's currently in the foreground, the one you've selected, and it will be a different color, and you can set the color and the text color for that as well. And then here you have the background color. That's kind of self-explanatory, you know, obviously, like you can set this to something and now your background color is going to. So, you know, you could, if you had like an aesthetic you like with your UI and you wanted to have this be a certain theme, you could style it up however you want. The other thing you can do, I'm not going to talk about like editing button commands in here, but like let's just talk about editing buttons display. You can edit the name, so you could say, you know, maybe you're like backstab for a rogue, you know, and you can save it, and you'll see there's backstab here. Obviously, backstab doesn't work with this because it's not the single word doesn't fit. So we might want to increase our fixed button width, and now we have backstab working. So you might have backstab, and you know, maybe for all your rogue commands, you want it to have like a cool, like dark red-ish vibe, and maybe it all has white text. Now you save it. Now you have like, oh, your backstabs are there, and you know, it just works. And you know, sometimes I do that. Like I'll put all my heels like as one color or whatever. You know, you're the artist. You paint it, baby. I don't want to tell you how to do it. But yeah, you know, you can edit that part of it. Another cool feature that's kind of like UI-ish is the timer feature. So we'll just put in, the timers are based on, like the delay in the commands is milliseconds. This one is seconds. So if I do a 10-second timer here and I save it, you can see now when I click on it, I get kind of an overlay that kind of rounds it out, kind of displays on it. Now I will say that it doesn't prevent you from clicking the button again. So like when I click here, you know, and I click again, it just restarts the timer. So it's not like in EverQuest, like when something's on a timer, it's basically non-clickable. This one is clickable, and there's reasons for that, because sometimes when you're using this, you might click a button too fast while another command's already being issued, and then it won't work, and or you click something and it failed on your character and you need to click it again, like say for instance they fizzle the spell or something like that. You don't necessarily want to be locked out. So that's the reason why we don't block it. So it's just like, be cognizant of it, you know, do whatever. Sometimes what I'll do is like, I'll just have a random button over here that, you know, and I'll just make like the command just be to do like, you know, just be nothing, like just be my druid or whatever. You can even, let's just like do one of these and then set the timer for, you know, maybe it's a spawn that's every 10 minutes. I can just click that and then, you know, I'll do like spawn timer for spawn, you know, maybe I'll give it, you know, background color and say save. So now I have this spawn button. If I click it, now I'm just going to have a, you know, 10-minute timer here to do something with it. And, you know, like obviously 10 minutes is kind of long, so maybe we'll just do like 60 seconds so we can kind of demonstrate it a little better. So now when I click it, I'll have like a 60-second timer. So if you could be killing something, sometimes I'll just have like a dummy button so I can just use it to track spawns and I can just edit it really quickly, which is kind of nice. You know, you could do that similarly in the EverQuest game, but you know, you could do it here too if you wanted to. Yeah, so that's kind of, oh, and then you can kind of get into other stuff. So let's talk about, let's go back to settings here. Let's kind of get this done in, make it a little less chunky. So just going to kind of make button height here a little more reasonable. Maybe like down here. Oh, wait, not down there. That seems right. And then maybe just the font size, reduce it to like 11. And then maybe you make the width a little smaller. And then you can talk about kind of just like layouts. You know, obviously, like you could do like a vertical layout. I personally don't use it on character windows because character windows tend to have a lot of like the character buttons, which kind of mess up the layout. But if we were to go to you know, if we were to change our character button width to be pretty small, you know, obviously it doesn't need to even be that big. It could almost be the same size. We wanted it to be, oh, I guess the minimum you can do on, oh, when did I set the fixed button width to 59? Okay, so it's set to 59. So then now it's like, hey, you could have like this way and you could drive this way. I will say the vertical button layout, it does lay out the characters always at the top and the button's going down. So there's no way to like flip it. And you know, that's kind of how it is. And like I said, like we can kind of talk about other parts of this. Let's switch this back to horizontal layout. Let's bring it back over. As far as like the order of the characters, see we have Druid, Mage, Cleric. I can change that by dragging these. So, you know, if I wanted to have, you know, backstab down here and bottom, you can do that. But anyway, this is just a tutorial on laying this shit out. Alright, y'all. Have a good one.